Okay, I need to talk about this because I have been seeing a lot of people argue about Tyla's new music video for her song, That Girl, for a few days now. And I honestly feel like everyone is just having the completely wrong conversation at the moment. First of all, I want to begin this video by saying that I love Tyla. I don't take this video as me hating on her or something. I genuinely do love her. I loved her debut album. I thought her sophomore album was fairly decent. I think she's honestly one of the most exciting pop stars we've gotten in years. And I don't think this is some huge scandal that's going to ruin her career or forever or anything dramatic like that. But I am disappointed. Not in Tyla, though, necessarily. It's kind of more so in the situation as a whole. When I first watched the music video, something felt very weird. I couldn't explain it. It wasn't like I immediately thought, oh, that's AI, but it was just more so like a feeling kind of when you walk into a room and something is just different. You can't exactly figure out what changed. Well, then I started seeing artists and animators on YouTube breaking down the video online, and suddenly it all really just clicked for me. They were pointing out extra fingers, jewelry melting into bands, characters changing proportions between shots, backgrounds kind of just blending into themselves. And once they pointed it out, I really couldn't unsee it. Now, here is where I think people are kind of misunderstanding each other. My problem is not AI. Seriously. I mean, we all use AI, right? I mean, half of the apps on our phones are quietly using AI somewhere in the background. I mean, it's not going anywhere, and pretending that we can just put the technology back into a box, it's not realistic. What bothers me though, and I would say this is what bothers most people, is that AI is starting to replace parts of the art that make art feel personal. It's starting to replace actual artists. One of my favorite things about animation, and I'm not really an animator myself, but my favorite thing about animation is knowing that every little decision came from somebody's brain. Some animator somewhere decided that expression should be a little bit more dramatic, or someone stayed a little late trying to figure out how to make a scene flow better. Someone erased a drawing like 50,000 times before finally getting it right. You can actually feel that when you watch great animation. It's imperfect in the best way possible. And I really think that that's why people connect with it. But watching Tyla's music video, I didn't really get that feeling at all. Instead, the whole time, I really just kept feeling like I was watching software trying to imitate creativity instead of artists making creative decisions themselves. Maybe that's not entirely fair, but it's really just how the video made me feel, and I'm sure a lot of you guys can probably agree with me when I say that. And I truly believe that Tyla deserves so much better than that. I mean, she is one of those artists whose entire brand is personality. Her dancing has personality. Her fashion has personality. Even the way she performs has personality. So I would say it's kind of ironic that the visuals surrounding her ended up feeling weirdly impersonal. And then, of course, the production company released a statement saying everything was animated by hand. Sounds suspicious. So at first, I was like, oh, okay, I mean, maybe everyone was just wrong in suspecting that it was AI. I even started to doubt myself. But then I kept reading. They said it was animated by hand, edited by hand, composited by hand, colored by hand. Notice what's missing? They never actually said the artwork itself was drawn by hand. Now, I know that might sound like a very tiny difference and like we're talking about semantics here, but I really think that that's kind of where the key to this argument is. Because editing AI-generated images still takes work, right? Compositing takes work. Color grading takes work. Nobody is saying that those jobs are not real, but they're different from sitting down with a blank canvas and creating something from scratch. Creating every character, environment, every scene from scratch. Those are not the same thing. And then I actually found an older interview where the production company who made Tyla's music video openly talked about AI being a huge part of their creative process. And to be fair, that just made me really confused, because if AI is part of your workflow, just say that. Own it. Explain why you used it. Tell us what the artist did. I actually think that people would respect that a lot more than trying to tiptoe around it. I also don't really blame Tyla herself, like really at all here. People often forget that huge artists have entire teams making these decisions. Directors, agencies, labels, production companies. There are so many people involved before a music video ever reaches YouTube at all. So I really don't think that Tyla was sitting there saying, hey guys, let's make my entire music video AI. I think she really just trusted the people around her. If anything, I feel bad that the conversation around this video became about AI instead of, the actual music, because the song is good. The song is really good. And that's what makes this whole thing just feel like a huge missed opportunity. Instead of everyone talking about the choreography or the styling or the visuals, we are all zooming in on somebody's hand trying to count fingers. And that's really depressing. Honestly, it's really depressing. At the end of the day, this is not about Tyla at all. I don't even think that this is about AI at all. I really just think it's kind of about what we value as consumers, right? Technology is always going to change. Artists will adapt. The industry will adapt. That's normal. What I don't want, though, is for good enough to become the new standard. Because art has never been about being efficient. It's never been about finding the fastest way to make something. And actually, the art I've loved most has always felt like there was another human being on the other side of it. Someone who cared enough to obsess over tiny, tiny details that most people would never even notice in a million years. And I really think that that's why this whole conversation has really stuck with me the way it has. Not because I think that AI is inherently evil, not because I think that Tyla somehow did something unforgivable. In fact, I would actually argue that she really didn't do anything at all in this situation. But really, I just hope that we don't accidentally convince ourselves that personality, craftsmanship, and the human touch are things that we can afford to lose. Because good enough has never been why people fall in love with art in the first place. People fall in love with it for personality. Because, at least for me, that's what made me fall in love with art in the first place.